Ken Carson, More Chaos, album review. Let's talk about it. How y'all doing? Welcome to Let's Talk About It, Music Reviews Season 11. How y'all doing? Welcome to the show, guys. We are talking about Ken Carson for the final time, sadly. You know, I've had so much fun checking out this album all weekend and all week, but now we're moving on from Ken Carson. But before we move on from Ken Carson this week, guys, we have to talk about this album that I just got done listening to multiple times. I mean, hundreds of fucking times that I've streamed this whole damn album. We got Ken Carson, More Chaos. Guys, how album reviews work for my shows, that we're going to be going over 3 overall points of how I feel about the album. And then we're going to be diving into every single track, rating every single track, 1 out of 5, guys. So let's get into it now. Starting off with my first point, we got to talk about the production of this whole entire album. Now, look, the production is, you know, the Playboy Carti-esque, you know, trap, synthy. You know, it's got the trap beats, it's got the synths, it's got all this, it's got the bass. I mean, I'll say this, though. I think, you know, this album, you know, has a lot more, you know, emphasis on that bass. I really listen to an album, guys, and I just go, damn. There's just moments in this album where the bass just goes off the damn walls. It's going to blow up your damn car. I mean, holy damn shit. And also, too, one of the things that I do enjoy is that, you know, these synths, they feel like, you know, each song that comes on, these synths really make sense. You know, sometimes I listen to, you know, like a trap song, and, you know, people are inspired by Playboy Carti, or they're inspired by, you know, Ken Carson, or they're inspired by whoever the fuck that does this type of music, and they, you know, just throw some synths on a beat. You know, throw these synths, don't really give them that love, don't give them the, you know, the things that they need to really stand out on a track, you know. And I think the synths on this track, there's moments where the synths get to play out, they really get to do the thing on the track, and it overall just makes a really enjoyable experience off the album. And, you know, we'll go into some of my favorite tracks. My favorite tracks for this album is going to be Money Spread. I think this track has a very addicting hook. The beat, I really love how that synth really goes off at the middle part of the song. You know, there's just moments like that. And then Live Leak. You know, Live Leak, besides having an ending that I don't like, Live Leak is another one of my favorite tracks. And also, that's going to bring up my next point about this More Chaos, these beat switches. I didn't expect so many beat switches from Ken Carson. Now, guys, this is my first Ken Carson album review, but I'm going to be real, guys. I did not expect like 3 beat switches, and I didn't expect, you know, one of these songs, which we'll get into later, that had like 3 fucking beat switches into the song itself. So I didn't really expect that, but I like the variety that this production has. But there is some negatives. There is some songs where I feel like the production is a little bit too quiet. I feel like the drums are turned down a little bit too much, you know? I really want to feel the impact of this beat. I really want to be bobbing my head to this damn song. And the drums are kind of, you know, making the experience not the best. You know, tracks like, you know, Exposed, or tracks like the intro track, The Lord of Chaos. Like, you know, I love the synths, I love the bass, I love that energy, but I don't like the drums on any of these tracks. I feel like the drums are kind of muted. They're kind of turned down when you're listening to them, and that's just going to create an experience that I don't really want to listen to, and I don't really want to vibe with, you know. I want to feel the bass. I want to feel the damn drums, all right? You know, turn that shit fucking up. You know, whoever is producing these damn songs, turn them damn drums up. I can barely fucking hear them. I got my whole headphones all the way damn up. Like, come on. Also, my next point, you know, the third point, you know, the only features that there was on this album was Playboy Carti and Destroy Lonely. I will, you know, mention off the meter after we talk about all the other tracks. Features on this album, I would say, were pretty decent. I mean, you got Playboy Carti going fucking absolutely insane. You got Destroy Lonely really doing his thing on this track. So, you know, features, not really that many. It's just Ken Carson on this whole album, which is pretty fire. And I think, you know, overall Ken Carson's performance of this album was pretty good. Love the moments of flow switches. I like that, you know, multiple tracks, we get some more vocal switch-ups too. There is some tracks where I feel like King Carson is really dragging out these songs. You know, there's a few tracks where I feel like King Carson is rapping maybe just a little too much, which I never know. I would think I need to say that, but yeah, I think King Carson is rapping a little bit too much on some of these tracks, you know? You know, when the track is fading and I can hear King Carson still rapping the damn song, the beat has not even ended, you know, I feel like you're just dragging on the song a little bit too much for an ending that doesn't even happen. So yeah, that's only really the very complaints. I mean, overall, guys, I had a pretty enjoyable experience with this album. So let's move on now. Let's go over every single track off this damn album. Guys, there is there is 21 songs. This album is 57 minutes long. And I guess, you know, it's over 21 because this doesn't even include off the meters. So 22 tracks overall. Let's start off talking about The Lord of Chaos. Look, The Lord of Chaos, I like the synths, I like the production, I like everything here, but the drums are really bringing down this song. But I think the hook is really addicting, so, you know, this track is just okay. It's an overall decent intro track. I feel like this was an intro track, you know. I wish the drums went a little bit harder, so 3 out of 5. Expose, I don't like this track at all. You know, guys, I've tried to give this track a chance. I really have. I've listened to this track over fucking 20, 30 times. Each time, every time I listen to it, the bass is so distorted that it's unenjoyable to listen to. I mean, what the fuck? And also, the bass gets even more distorted. And also, this song is almost 4 minutes long. What the hell are we goddamn thinking? 3 minutes? Fuck it. 4 minutes. This shit's a 4-minute track. Why is this track 4 minutes long? There's no flow switches, no vocal switches, no none of that. Why? This one's like a 2 out of 5. But then we get into when the album gets good. You know, Lord of Chaos I was like, all right, this is okay. Exposed, I was like, this is fucking terrible. But then Money Spread came on. Money Spread has a really good beat. I love the synths on this beat. I love that like one little synth in the middle that just goes absolutely off on its own when you're listening to it. And the hook is so addicting on this track. Money Spread is an easy 5 out of 5. I got this track on my personal playlist. I'm going to be playing this shit for the rest of my goddamn time. All right, it's one of them ones. Money Spread is one of them goddamn ones. The next track is Root of All Evil, which, you know, is pretty funny because, well, the album, the visualizers for all the fucking album were, you know, King Carson sitting there with a demonic circle, blood circle. So Root of All Evil makes so much more sense now. And I think Root of All Evil is actually a pretty good track in my opinion. I really like the bass on this. I think the bass is actually a perfect balance. It's not too distorted, but it's going absolutely hard. The drums are absolutely doing their thing on here. Root of All Evil is a decent track. I even like the rapping. I like the little pockets of flow switches that King Carson has on here. I'm going to give this track probably like a 4. I'll give it a 3 out of 5. Now, this is where the album gets really good because I think K-Hole is one of them ones too. K-Hole, great beat, great flows. King Carson had a really great performance on this track. And I think this is a really good track. I'm going to easily give it a 4 out of 5 for sure. The next track is Trap Jump. And this is where we get a little bit too... This is where, again, I say this. The bass gets a little too distorted for me. I think Trap Jump is really missing, you know, some drums for sure. I mean, I like the synths, I like the bass, but there's no, like, drums. Like, I'm really trying to grab straws for these damn drums. They feel like they're muted on this song. So we'll give this song like a 2 out of 5. But then that's when the album gets good again, all right? You had Trap Jump, which was, not the best song. But yeah, Black Rockstar, which is next. Black Rockstar, this track is addicting, the hook is addicting, the beat switch goes absolutely fucking hard, and also, you know, I really love this beat switch, and you would get a really hard beat switch like this from Playboi Carti, but this motherfucker wouldn't rap over the beat switch. Ken Carson, though, said, hey, I'm gonna rap over this beat switch, and I think that's absolutely fire. This one's an easy 5 out of 5. Then we have another track which I really enjoy, even though the ending is holding this track back. The ending is, bad in my opinion, but everything else is the next track, which is Live Leak. Live Leak is a fucking banger. It's one of them ones. There's like 3 beat switches in this song itself. There's so many beat switches that the song just fucking ends. It just fades out, and you hear Ken Carson rapping even more. Why did you end the track then? Why did it fade out like this? Finish the damn song. One of the things that I have to say, and one of the things I'm going to establish on this damn show, if you're going to make me wait, if you're going to, keep dragging on a damn song, if you're going to, do a Taylor Swift on me, if you're going to do a pop song on me that wants to go, 4+ minutes long, well, buddy, that 4+ minute song better have a goddamn ending. Where the fuck is the ending? That's what this track is missing. A damn ending. If this track had an ending, I swear to God, it would be like an easy 5 out of 5. But it can't be a 5 out of 5. The ending is so bad, it just fades out. And there's even more. What the fuck? 4 out of 5. Diamonds, though. Diamonds is a really nice, chill track. I really like the synths. It kind of feels like a piano when you're listening to it. Like the synths are just going like crazy on this track, and I think that this is where I really like the drums. The drums are actually really addicting. They can really sound really good too when you're listening to it. I'm gonna easily give this track like a 5 out of 5. Dismantle. This is where we're back again with this distorted bass that, as I keep listening to it, I'm really starting to not enjoy this distorted bass. I mean, holy shit. Dismantle is missing some drums because I don't even think you can hear the drums. You could just hear the fucking bass going damn crazy, but I really like to hear the drums. I feel like this track is missing a little something here. Maybe it's missing a beat switch, maybe it's missing a flow switch, but Ken Carson's performance on here was nothing that I'm really going, it's not fire. His performance was not fire at all on this track. I'm going to easily give this track, honestly, I mean, I would rather listen to Exposed than this shit. I'd probably give it a 1 out of 5. We got 200 Cash. 200 Cash is actually a really good track because I think the hook is really addicting. Love the background vocals too. I love the ad-libs that go absolutely crazy on this track. The drums too are fucking smacking on here. This one's an easy 4 out of 5. Down to Earth. This is where we get a little bit of a melodic switch up from Ken Carson. The melodic switch up is nice. I like the more melodic vocals from Ken Carson here. I like the flow. I think the hook is really good. Down to Earth is just missing this. The ending of Down to Earth is not really that good in my opinion. I think Down to Earth is missing a fucking ending. And I can't believe I have to say that. I can't believe in 2025 of me reviewing music that I have to say, well, everything was really hitting, but the track just kind of ends. There's no ending at all. It just kind of ends. Like these other tracks that I've checked out up here, It's just one of those ones where I'm like, I feel like you could have finished the song. But, Down to Earth is just going to get a 3 out of 5. But Confetti is where I go, all right, I see the vision. I see the melodic vision. The melodic vision on here is absolutely insane. The fucking beat is absolutely goddamn smacking on here. The drums are fucking going crazy on here. I really enjoy this track. I think the hook too, the flow of the hook. The flow of the hook of itself is so addicting, and then you have that repetitive vocals that are really just going to get stuck in your head. This track is really good. I'm going to easily give it a 5 out of 5. Naked. Naked is one of those tracks where I think it's missing some drums for sure. All I can hear is just some distorted bass and some synths. It's missing a beat, in my opinion. I think this track, was set up to be all right. But, you know, no matter how hard Ken Carson is rapping on this, you know, if you don't have a good beat, it's not just going to sound good. So this one's like a 2 out of 5. Kryptonite, though. Kryptonite is actually a nice little switch up. I love the background vocals of Kryptonite. I think they're really addicting. They could easily get stuck in your head. And I think Ken Carson's performance on here was really nice, too. So, and I'm going to give it like a... I'm probably going to give this track like a... It's an easy 5 out of 5. The next track, Psycho. Psycho, I would say, is missing some drums. That's my only critique about, definitely. That's my only critique about Psycho. It's missing some of that oomph from the drums. And what do I mean by that? Well, the mixing on the drums are a little, too turned down. And that's what I've really complained about with one of my overall thoughts is that some of these songs have really great synths, have really great production, but they're missing, the beat. Everything else sounds really good, but they're missing the main component of all these little elements that are going to make the song really damn good. Well, it's the fucking beat, and that's what it's missing. But other than that, this is a pretty good track. I'm going to easily give it a 4 out of 5. Now, Inferno. I don't like this track. I'll just be real. I think Inferno, it's all right. It's just all right. It has a good hook, but the verses, in my opinion, are lacking. So I'm just going to have to give this one like a 2 out of 5, but it's all right. But then we get back to it. We get back to it, guys, because we have one of my favorite tracks off this album. The next track is Thanks. This track right here, I'm just going to say this. The production, the melodic vocals, the fucking hook, the verses. The damn verses are flowing so good on this track. Every element, every little thing, the synths going damn crazy on this track. The Wake Up Filthy production absolutely hits. Every element comes together with Thanks, and this one is an absolutely fucking banger. It's one of them ones. I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5. Now, the next track, guys, which is 2000. This track is good. 2000 has a really good beat. Ooh, the verses too. I think the verses alone would get stuck in your head as you're listening. There's just these little moments of these verses where these little phrases are just going to get stuck in your head. And the drums on this track too absolutely hit. This is another Wake Up Filthy, production track. And it absolutely goes hard. This one's an easy 4 out of 5. Then we get into the last 2 tracks of the album, which, guys, it's time to get back to being negative. Guys, the next track is Evolution. Well, I think this track is a de-evolution because, first of all, this bass is obnoxious. This distorted bass just sounds bad. It's not even like a style thing, in my opinion. It's not like, the bass is supposed to sound like this. Guys, I genuinely think that this bass was fucking ran through a car. I think the bass was fucking run through like 100 damn tunnels before it came on this damn beat. Who in the right mind? What kind of drugs were we on when we produced this damn beat? This beat is fucking awful. Alright, I can't even hear Ken Carson rap on this track because this beat is fucking terrible. Jesus, this one's like a fucking 0 out of 5. And then we have the last track on the album, which is, Ghoul. And this is another track where, again, I think there's some Halloween-like sound effects here, which, I don't know, it could help out the track, but it just makes the track really generic when you listen to it. And then we have the same problem again. It's like Evolution and Ghoul was made together because they said, hey, that terrible ass bass that was in, Evolution, let's put it in Ghoul too. And y'all know how I feel about that damn bass. 0 out of fucking 5. But the official last track off the album, which I'm going to say is the official last track of the album because I want to end on a good note, is Off the Meter featuring Playboi Carti and Destroy Lonely. I really like Playboi Carti's verse. It was so good when I listened to it. Destroy Lonely was okay. He did his thing. Ken Carson's performance was just all right. But Playboi Carti really showed this. He killed it. I mean, let's just be fucking real. He killed it, you know. It's like reminding your sons, you are the original. And that's how I kind of feel about Off the Meter. So that one's an easy 5 out of 5. Overall, guys, when we talk about Ken Carson, More Chaos, I think this track, I think this album has a lot of good things to it. I think there's some really great addicting moments of this album. I really like the synths off this album. I think they're so well done. And I think the bass, some of these tracks, I think the bass was done so well. There's just a few tracks where I'm not really enjoying, the elements on here. But, when you have an album that's 21 tracks long, you're going to have a couple of duds. It's like I talked about Playboi Carti. And I still need to get finished my review of that album. But that fucking album is 30 tracks long. There is bound to be a lot of damn misses on that album. And there's a few misses on this album. But I would say, I had a really enjoyable time listening to this. Some of the tracks, I think, really showed that Ken Carson is kind of like that. He's kind of got that, style to him. He's got that aura to him. He's got that fucking crazy goddamn shit to him, all right? Overall, guys, I think More Chaos was a decent album. I think it's a fun time. Just probably don't go into it. I wouldn't go into expecting, a Playboi Carti performance. I wouldn't go into this album expecting, like any crazy production when you're listening to it. It's not going to be any of that. But if you want an album that you would just want to kind of put on and kind of just sit back and kind of chill to, I think this album really works well. Overall, I'm going to give this album a 6 out of 10, guys. 6 out of 10, what'd you think about it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? I don't know. Let me know. Guys, if you're on YouTube, Spotify, Pandora, wherever you get your podcast at, make sure you follow, turn on notifications. I'll see y'all later. You have a good one. Yeah, guys. Bye.